Sup everyone, welcome back to another video. And as you guys see on screen here, the 1.3 character rosters are out. There is the 4-star, here's the 5-star, here's another 5-star. So imaginary destruction, and it seems like quantum preservation and quantum abundance. The quantum rosters are eating well for people who are thinking, I want to play mono quanto, right? I want to play seal it with maybe a healer or preservation in this case, and I want to play with Silverwolf. You have both of your options now. If you want to play abundance or preservation, they're both here. Now that's an interesting choice, right? To release a preservation and an abundance character. We're going to jump into these characters' kits in a future video, but right now in this one, we want to talk about future prospects. How should you be preparing for your team rosters? How does this change the potential lineup for who you pull, who you don't? Now I know for the mommy wanters, for Kafka, nothing has changed, right? For the Blade Daddy Chasers, nothing has changed. However, for people maybe who are planning for something that's more further ahead, this might stir up a little bit when it comes to who you want to pick. Now, starting with Lynx, this is the 4-star abundance character. Now, looking at characters like Natasha, we have understand that 4-star characters doesn't really mean anything as to whether or not they're good or not. It's not really a good indication to say, oh, the 4-star characters is not going to be good, right? Hoyoverse titles are quite different from other titles in that 4-star versions are not always a direct inferior version of 5-star units. A good example of this is a character like Yukong, also character like Yun. Both of these characters are buffers, but you can't really say they're both an inferior version of someone like Bronya. They all serve different roles in a team, and that's why characters like Lynx, you can't really write her off saying, oh, like, why would I ever use her if I'm gonna pull fuxuan, right? The 5-star preservation, she's gonna replace like the role of Jeopard probably in many teams, quantum teams, and have it so that you never really need a healer. So there's really no point to ever pull Lynx ever. Now that might be the wrong line of thought. Now there's also a very high likelihood that Lynx will be on the banner with fuxuan. I'm just saying there's a likelihood, right? If they're meant to be in the same team. Now, if they don't pair Lynx and fuxuan onto the same banner, there's a likelihood that maybe this character was designed for another character. Let's say if they put her on this banner, there's a chance that there's some level of synergy here, or they're going to use her as bait for people to pull both of these banners. Now, I don't think really Hoyoverse is going to do that when it comes to how they've released these characters. It seems like that they're going to come kind of like in a bundle, and they're very interswitchable with each other. Is it going to be a scenario where you're going to run Lynx and fuxuan on the same team? Also, don't think so. For people who are wondering, like, then what is the point? Why release an abundance quantum and a preservation, right? You're asking me that question. I don't know. I'm gonna be quite honest with you guys. I don't know why they release this right now. If you truly want to run a full 4-man quantum team, you're missing, surprisingly, a harmony character. A harmony character is, I'm not gonna say hard to come by, because we got like Tingyun, Yukong, and we also have Bronya, and even more than that, like we have Asta, right? Like there's plenty of harmony characters, but harmony in the quantum role, that's gonna be quite a juicy one. Now, I have heard from my little birds, right, whispering in my ears, chirping in the morning at 3 a.m. when I'm like trying to go to bed. So I'm like, I was like, oh my god, quantum harmony, don't mind if I do. But let's be clear on something here. I don't want to sell the idea of you pull one team in this game and you never need to pull another team ever again. I'm actually against it in terms of its longevity, because look what happened to Genshin Impact when everybody was using one team. That's it. They just used one team to clear everything. That team got pretty much demolished, right? Like fast forward to this day, which Morgana, for those of you who don't know, was one of the most popular freeze CC teams back in Genshin Impact 1.3 when Ganyu came out, all the way up until 1.6, even a bit of 2.0, right? Everybody and their grandmas were running Morgana, and Hoyoverse was sweating bullets because people were skipping banners. They were clearing the endgame content with their eyes closed, pressing 3 buttons. So that's not a scenario Hoyoverse wants to happen in Honkai Star Rail. So then people would like, then why did they release a character like Silverwolf? What's the point of Silverwolf then? There's no point playing Silverwolf if you can't force the element you want. Well, you see, this is where a lot of people have the misunderstanding of why mono quantum won't work in Honkai Star Rail. If you didn't watch my video, I have a video talking about this, and the main reason that mono quantum won't work is because Hoyoverse doesn't want them to work. They don't want one composition to demolish everything, especially a character like Silverwolf where she can force one random weakness onto the enemy. Well, that stops being random when you can optimize your team around it, right? But if you're just gonna take 4 quantum and force quantum onto the enemy every single time, well, then you start having a scenario where like, okay, so where's the challenge at? Then you're gonna have to build around, let's say, the carry, like who's doing the damage. Okay, it's a combination between Silverwolf and Seele. So then you're gonna target single target, right? Like you're gonna start making 5 enemies that revive 2 times every time they're taken down, or enemies that can only be taken down when both of them die at the same time, or some weird crap like that. Right? It'd be like, oh, how's Seele? How are you gonna do that? You're gonna have to kill both of these characters at the same time. So there are counters, but do you think Hoyoverse wants to get to a point where it's so damn on the nose? No, they don't want that, and they've never done that, with exception to one instance of that, with my experience, it being Venti, right? Like they were so on the nose with like, oh, Venti, you're not welcome here. your existence is not welcomed in these realms anymore. So that actually hurt Venti's resale value a lot. When it comes to Archon resales, Venti currently is the worst resale Archon. I mean, like, yes, he is the oldest, but a character like Zhongli, who was released literally 2 patches after him, still holds quite a bit of value even today. So this is the thing when it comes to Hoyoverse releasing characters that are way too comfortable for players to use. They end up having to bite the bullet and lose out on future sales. So that's why I think mono quantum is not going to work, right? Especially because Silverwolf is a part of this roster. Now let's talk a little bit about 5-star Dan Heng, an imaginary destruction character. Immediately, like, the alarms in my head is like, okay, this is a Luocha pair, right? Double imaginary. Right now, the problem with me flexing Silverwolf into a team with imaginary is that I don't actually have an imaginary DPS. So this is for the people who want to round out their Silverwolf options. Imaginary does pop up every now and then, just like Quantum does. So having a DPS to flex into a team with Silverwolf to allow you to force the weakness of your desire onto it is going to be a phenomenal option. So overall, for people who want to pick up Lune, I do think that it's going to be a splendid option as well. So now let's group up everything together. I do think at the end of the day, the better option is going to be this imaginary destruction character. It's just still such a rare element to have, and having a carry in this elemental position is going to be able to help you flex much more comfortably into the late game. I don't know what they're going to place in the future. Like, I'm not saying forever. I'm just saying right now, due to the lack of imaginary DPS characters, having one versus not having one is going to make your life a lot easier. But of course, with modern day Honkai Star Rail metas, with Clara Luocha duo just smashing MOC, it's anyone's game right now. There's so much room to explore as long as you have certain characters, and the most pivotal characters in the game are surprisingly still support characters, right? These support characters are enabling a lot more than DPS characters can, because at the end of the day, DPS characters' biggest role is just to do damage. Doesn't matter if it's pink damage, red damage, purple damage, whatever. Damage is damage. That's what they're for. So picking Lune, yes, he's gonna be your damage dealer in the imaginary role, right? But at the end of the day, you're gonna need a support roster probably to fit around him. He's going to have best in slot supports, and currently we don't know what that is. We can take a guess, right, as to whether he's a destruction character, and it seems like destruction character and Luocha just have some sort of synergy. It just works, right? They're usually either losing health on themselves, or they're attracting a lot of aggro from the enemy. So like both of these scenarios work very favorably in Luocha's for Luocha. Now, do I think these characters are better than, let's say, Blade and Kafka? Like, it's very difficult to tell. Right now, we know what Blade and Kafka does, right? We don't really know fuxuan, Lynx, as well as Lune, or I'm just gonna say 5-star Danhun, what they do. We don't really know. Now, we maybe know. Birds might be chirping again 2-3 a.m. in the morning, be like, Walrus deals tons of damage, right? But Kafka's niche, we know. Blade is just an emo DPS. He's like Zhao for Honkai Star Rail. So far, in my honest opinion, I think 1.2 is very skippable, right? Meta wise, I think 1.2 is very skippable. Both of them are DPS oriented, and in 1.0 we already got 2 very, very strong DPSs. Now people might be saying like, but they power creep, right? I wonder who said that. But it's best to wait until these characters out, then we can talk. Let's say Blade and Kafka power creeps Seele and Jingyuan, then good. Good, because then skip Blade and Kafka and go for 5-star Dunhunt, because you can bet your booty cheeks that he's then gonna power creep them. If that's the route we're going towards, then it's always the pull for the new one if you care about meta, but then just skip the old one. But I don't think that's going to be the case. I think they're all supposed to be doing different things in of themselves. I said it on my live stream as well. Power creep won't happen until every single role and niche are pretty much fulfilled. You need an imaginary destruction, you need an imaginary hunt, right? You need a quantum erudition. All these roles need to first be filled before they start thinking about power creep. And then what the hell are you even power creeping? So overall, that's my take. I think that 1.3 is honestly looking to be an overall better patch to pull. All right, that's just my opinion. 1.2 skippable. Till next time, I just stay safe. Peace. Bye bye.